Welcome to Service Drive Revolution. Please say hello to Jeremy O'Neill and Christian Lafferty.
Hello.
How are you guys, gentlemen?
Doing great. Hey, what's something you can give somebody but keep it at the same time?
Herpes.
The clap.
Nice.
Yeah.
I didn't see that coming.
You didn't. I was going to say COVID, but I think everybody's tired of COVID jokes. So,
Yeah.
Hey,
moving right along.
today we are going to talk about how to use tire season to steal market share. Turning
Like that.
rubber into glue. That was Christian's line. Turning
good
rubber
one.
into glue.
Nice.
How can you turn rubber into glue and steal market share during this upcoming tire season? We have some fun stuff that I think will be insightful. And we have to separate it into two categories. The northern shops and southern shops, so we have an answer for
Yeah,
both, right?
strategies.
Because it's different in the north than it is in the south for tire season. You don't really have a huge tire season per se in the south like you do in the north.
Correct.
I got to get out of LA
You do. Why?
because it's like Armageddon.
It's pretty close to that.
People keep getting shot. Like somebody just 2 blocks away yesterday got shot right in the throat, dead, right on the street
Right
corner.
outside my apartment.
There constant stabbings and shootings now. There's this app called Citizen. Have you ever heard of it?
No. Are you guys taking notes? Right.
Christian, you turned it off, right?
No, I fought it for a long time, and then I've recently turned it on, and now I'm participating in the chaos. So it's crazy how often the thing goes off. Oh, it reminds me too. So I got mugged the other day, actually.
You got mugged?
You got mugged?
Yeah, I was.
Did it show up on Citizen?
I don't remember. I wasn't looking while I was getting mugged.
Wait, I feel like
but
this is a
next
joke.
time around. So
You never know with him.
yeah, that's true.
That's true.
You really don't know. But
Wait, so you got mugged the other day?
yeah, I got mugged. Totally mugged. So the guy comes up to me and he says, "Give me your wallet, or I'll make you science." And I looked
Give
at
me your
him.
wallet or
I'll make you science. And then I looked at him and I said, "You mean history?" And he said, "Don't change the subject."
So give me your wallet or I'll make you history, like I'll kill
Yeah,
you.
right.
Thank you for the explanation because I had
So
no idea where
even
that was
the robbers and murderers here aren't sophisticated enough to know what they're doing.
Right?
It's
crazy.
chaos.
Not acceptable.
Where should we move, Jeremy?
at. I'm not moving. I love where I live.
We're gonna go to Texas and check it out.
I'm not going to Texas. I like all my friends and shop owners in Texas, but I would never move.
It's a great
To
automotive
Texas.
state.
I'm staying here in California. It's all good.
Ugh, can you imagine all the Dallas Cowboy fans if we lived in Texas?
I'm a Cowboys fan.
Ugh.
A
Don't tell
diehard
me
Cowboys
that.
fan. Hey, but speaking of all this chaos that's
How do
going
you
on,
grow up a Cowboys fan in California?
you just watched
You're like-
football at an
you're
early age,
like,
and you watched Roger Staubach. You know,
You like the
all-
uniforms?
I like the cheerleaders. It's all good.
So you pick your football team for the cheerleaders?
No,
Seriously, how do you grow up a Cowboys?
I've been a Cowboys fan my entire life from the time I can remember.
Jeez,
It runs in your family.
It
Your
does.
sister's a Cowboys fan too.
Really?
Is she?
Yeah, die hard.
Ugh.
There we
Remember
go.
Gary, G-Man,
So
Cowboys fan. Made no sense either.
with all of this chaos going on, this is why our customers need to take better care of their cars, because if they have to get out of town, you need a car that can make it happen. Peak performance and reliability. That's what's important today.
If I owned a shop downtown LA, that's what I'd be saying. I would have armor plate. I'd be selling that like
Yep.
crazy.
Could you-
Bulletproof glass.
Could you get it from Tesla?
What do you mean Tesla?
The bulletproof glass. The
I don't
glass
know.
that
Does
doesn't
Tesla
break.
make an armored car? I don't think they do.
I don't know.
I don't think they
Are you
make
guys
an armored
forgetting the
car.
truck that the glass shattered on? The Tesla truck?
But he's not making that yet.
I know it was my attempt at humor. I will leave the jokes to Christian.
Yeah, I thought we'd
So
established
sorry.
on previous episodes that you were going to clear your humor with me. That was unapproved.
Sorry.
It's okay.
And had you approved it, you probably could have punched it up, right?
Yeah, for
How would you have punched that up?
Oh
How
gosh.
could you have made that funny?
Let's not talk about that. Let's talk about what's really important.
How to use tire season to steal
Yeah,
market
so
share?
here's what's interesting about this. So when I grew up in the business in the early to mid 90s, we would see our customers 4 times a year. We'd put the oil sticker on us, 3 months, 3,000 miles. And now some cars may only need one service per year. So I love the spring and fall seasons to get the customer back into the shop. And one of the questions that always, clients ask me is, hey, how do we get more business? How do we make calls? And for me, I'm not a fan of just making outbound just sales calls. Like, customers hate those. So I want to have a reason. I want to have a purpose behind it. So this is a great reason to drum up the old database, customers that haven't been in 12 months to 24 months, to get a campaign going out on that, which is, get ready for fall or winter driving. It's great.
Okay, so let's talk about the north first, and then we'll talk about the south. So if you're anywhere that experiences a snow season where customers have their winter tires and their summer tires, basically, right? Non-winter tires, like say in Illinois or anywhere north, I would be storing their rims. Now, we've set up with clients where we charge for that. So we charge a storage, and there's different ways to do that. You can charge for it, or you can make it a part of the benefit of buying the car. Yep. So, but either way, it's a retention tool. And oftentimes, two things happen. Two objections come to light when we talk about doing this with a client. One is, we tried that and we lost their wheels or whatever. So you do have to be organized with it. You need to wrap them in plastic and put the customer's RO or information or something inside the plastic. So if it leaks, it rains, whatever, we still know who those belong to. And you have to be proactive and tell the customers ahead of time, book them ahead of time, control the input. So call customers a month out and plan it. Don't let them all just show up at one time, right? That's the other mistake that they make is like, whoa, we just get too much in, June or whatever. So you want to plan that out months ahead of time to swap it. But you're going to sell more tires and you're going to sell more alignments, and then they're going to come in for the other stuff. The other thing is when you do change the rims in that scenario, inspect the car or truck. I don't know how many clients we've had that will do the storage part, but they just have a kid for $8 an hour doing it,
just pop them
and
out.
nobody's
Set 'em on the road.
inspecting. So they're just letting all this opportunity because they don't control the input. They don't control how many are coming in and how often, and they're leaving it to chance. Customers wait until the very last minute and then they panic. So you got to call them and be ahead of that, right? Yeah. The other thing that happens with that is like, we have nowhere to store them. I've never had that be the case. I can find wherever your shop or your dealership is. If I draw a 3-mile radius around it, I can find warehouse space cheap.
Right.
The retention is worth renting a warehouse for a couple $1,000s a month.
It's your advertising budget almost, right?
And by the way, your parts manager has time to do this. Jeremy will tell you.
I'm speechless to that one. Not going to say anything about it. I have a question.
Parts one? You've submitted to parts?
No, I have not submitted to parts. I will fight that battle till the end.
Well, and all joking aside, I find that parts managers, once they accept this task, are pretty good at figuring it out.
Well, I was going to say that
they fight it at first.
The people that complain about losing tires, they probably put the parts manager in charge of that system the first year.
They just don't have a system to wrap them. You got to wrap them in plastic so they're all together.
Yep, and they don't walk.
You have to commit to it.
So
you have
wrap
to
them and tag them.
Yeah.
Kind of like a dead body.
Yeah.
And get a place that we'll have clients, they'll have one container, like, the containers on the back of a semi. They'll have one overflowing with them. You can't get in and out of it.
Yeah.
You gotta put them somewhere where they're inventoried and you can easily get to them. And then if you call months out and schedule it, then you have them brought over and you're ready to go.
Yep.
It's really easy. I've yet to find the limit of how much you can charge to store and mount and balance. The most we've charged is $3.99, and it wasn't a deterrent.
Yeah, I feel like $100 is probably the thing I hear the most, somewhere around that zone.
But that is not the top of the market.
No, it's not. But the thing,
and when customers say like, "Oh, we don't have anywhere to store them," I'm always like, just charge more.
Right.
Like if you're storing 200 of them every season, we probably could store 400 if you weren't the anti-storing them machine. But if we charge 250, it pays for itself.
Hands down. I think that that's the big thing too, is that you recognize, like, in your market, if it's urban, like there's a way more of a demand for that than somebody that, you know, might be out in a rural area and they have more storage area. But I just want, like, it's that dehorsing thing that we used to talk about when I was in sales, like get the customer out of whatever it is that they have and then they're a captive audience, but they're always going to be coming back. So the other thing that I noticed too, to your point about scheduling things, is with my clients up north, when do they get the big rush of tires, right? They call after the first snowfall. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden
it's panic.
It's crazy and it's chaos and everything like that. And that's the big thing is with that tire stuff. If you have all their tires, you know the 200 or 400 people that you've got that have them, you start kind of planning that out 5 a day for, from the middle of September to the end of October is what you're doing and everything like that. And you schedule it out and it's nice and easy, and then it's guaranteed revenue. I think that is just, it's the glue.
Also,
sure.
You can call them and tell them, like, hey, your tire measurements at this, we should put new rubber on these rims.
Yeah.
So you can be ahead of it. Yeah. I love how Jeremy is agreeing like he knows what we're talking about, but he's never experienced tire season in Chicago.
Oh, that's right. I forgot you haven't really been up in the cold areas.
Well, wait,
before.
now, I've been coaching for a lot of years, and I've had clients. I've been in New Hampshire when they've gone through this, so I understand. Yep. One of the interesting things about down, in the States, at least, I know north of the border is like very consistent. But a lot of times, like in New England, they do wait for that big first snowfall to trigger it. And some customers may not want to schedule it because they're like, well, if it's still 60 degrees outside, I'm going to, burn the tires up. I'm going to wait till we get snow on the ground, stuff like that.
But that's easy to overcome. You just say, hey, we need to get ahead of this because when it does happen, everybody wants to come in at one time and you don't want to be stuck, and we might have to have you wait a couple days. So you just tell the customer the truth.
Do you like how I let him in that role play?
He loved to role play, dirty dog.
Wow. Yeah. See, right there. Now, the other thing is package. So you mentioned selling more alignments. I would have a package that has all that pre-built into it, which is maybe an annual service package with the alignment and everything built into one, so you're not having to make a lot of different presentations.
Yeah. And also, if you're a dealership, every time you sell a new or used car, you could give them a coupon for half off the first storage, or even do it for free the first year. Once they get hooked in and you have one set, you got them.
All you need is the wheels, man.
Yeah,
so it's over after that.
If you sell, it's always funny to me is I'll be like, okay, how many do you guys store? And they're like, 50. And I'm like, well, how many new cars do you sell a month? They're like 150. I'm like, so in a year, you're selling 1,500 cars, and you're like, what?
Right.
No, it starts in F&I.
Right.
It starts at the sale, and then how many used cars? Like, why can't you store them on those too? So it starts up front. You have home field advantage. Act like it.
Yeah, I think from the time of the sale, like the dealers that we see do it the best are the ones that during the sales process, they're actually selling the winter tires and wheels right on the thing, and the customer never even sees it. It's like, oh, we'll let you know when it's getting close to time to put on. We've already got them stored and your name's on it and everything like that. Like they're yours in service forever, and they haven't even left the dealership from the sale.
And now's the time to think about it. We're talking about it early to give you a head start. Now, Oh, go ahead.
Well, independence, this can be a competitive advantage to where if you want to break into this market, come up with a very unique marketing campaign to start to take some of this market share away. So if you're not storing tires, think outside the box and find a place to do it and create that as another revenue stream. Because if you can add 300 or 400 sets of tires that you're storing, I mean, that's a golden opportunity to do a full inspection on the car and meet a customer, really build a great relationship with them, and pull that car out of the dealership. Maybe the independents can get to a 95% attrition rate where we take in 95% of the cars out of the dealerships.
Instead of 80?
Instead of 80, yeah. Opportunity, it's there.
Then the southern dealers or shops, right?
Yeah, I think the thing to recognize with our southern dealers is that what, to your point earlier, is that tire maintenance is actually due more often than oil maintenance. Like it's crazy
Oh, yeah.
that's the case. So
yeah.
I'd be using that as my retention tool to glue the customer that
absolutely.
way.
Yeah, and the change of season, right?
Yep,
so
exactly.
using the change of season as a reason to get them back in for a pit stop, or let us check it out, check your tire pressure, top off your fluids, and inspect it and do a pit stop. But I find that probably the best retention tool there is lifetime alignments.
Yep.
And so it's funny, your sister bought a new Kia. Is it a Kia?
Yes.
Hyundai.
Same
Hyundai?
thing.
Is it a Hyundai or a
They're
Kia?
the same
She's got a
car.
Hyundai and a Honda.
Well,
Hyundai. And
Kia and Hyundai are
she's
in
never
there.
gone to the dealer
Never gone to the dealer.
because she bought a lifetime alignment at Firestone. Is it Firestone?
I
or
think it
something
was
like that?
Firestone, yeah.
One of those chains. And so even though it has nothing to do with an oil change or maintenance, she goes there because
Gotta take
that's
care of the
where
tires.
that's where she hangs her hat.
Yeah.
Right?
Interesting.
And so selling an alignment yearly that is a lifetime or 3 year or however you want to do it. The lifetime one's kind of pencil, but they come back and then you remind them to come back and you can charge more for it, right? So if you charge $129 for a regular one, you can charge $299 for the lifetime.
lifetime.
But you're hooking them in and then you're going to get the tires, you're going to get everything else.
Yeah. You can use nitrogen like that too.
Yeah. So using that and the change in seasons to get them back in. Mm-hmm. Understand too, like you're supposed to check your tire pressure every time you fill it for gas.
Yeah.
Oh, come on. That's what the TPMS is for. The dash tells me where my tires are at.
Yeah, right.
It does.
I think it's still a good idea to get out and look at them though. Especially if you drive like me, you never know what's gonna jump out in front of you.
I don't know how many times I've gone out and had a bubble in the
Yeah,
sidewall.
me too. That's what I'm saying. Is that you gotta
I
be
see.
be checking that stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? That makes me think of something. What
Excuse me.
can't be used until it's broken?
What can't be used until it's broken.
What?
You got him thinking on this one.
It's broken. I give up. What?
An egg.
Clever. I like it.
Thank you. I ran that by the joke person before I said that.
Who's the joke person?
Not Jeremy.
Oh my gosh, you were bashing me today. Wow.
Usually I'm really nice
Very
too.
interesting.
What's wrong?
This takes me back to like lifetime oil changes instead of alignments. So we used to, sell a lifetime oil change on the car, and that was very successful in the late '90s, early 2000s, and then that kind of has gone away. I'm just like lifetime cabin air filter. Come in and get your cabin air filter changed.
Yeah, I
A lot
would
of
say
stuff.
to that too. We have a dealer group as clients that have a lifetime oil change as part of buying the car there. And when we started coaching them, I remember you would hear a lot from the managers like, "Oh, these things are bringing down my
bad."
averages,"
Right.
and they're not saying that anymore, and they're doing way better and selling more. And a lot of it was they don't look at that as an opportunity and a retention tool, but from a dealer's side, that's one of the best ways to retain customers is to have that, and it can pencil. Like that's the thing with these sort of things that always blow me away is you can do the math so it pencils. You can pack it into the new car. You can write it off to advertising, whatever it is. But I would rather have the traffic than not have the traffic. I'd rather have the retention and the opportunity and keep them coming back than losing them forever.
Yep. Yeah, we did that at my Infinity store, and I remember when you came in, and I thought one of the first things you're going to say is do away with the free oil change program.
I think
You're-
people think that a lot.
Yeah,
that we're
and
going to
then
say that.
and then you came in, and you're like, "That's a great idea. I can't believe that more people don't do it." And it was really, really fair and equitable. So we wrote off the cost of the oil change. It was split between parts, service, and sales. And it was really, really equitable, and our retention was in the 80s. Like it was crazy how retained our customers were because they always came in, and it had so much to do with the mindset, and we were just really grateful to have the people.
Yeah, it's because, it's crazy, but dealers usually retain 20, 25%, and you can retain 80 if you want.
So yeah, I'm curious because I wonder why more dealerships and even independent shops don't kind of use the Costco membership mindset and create an exclusive club or membership that customers have to. It's limited.
It's interesting
it's
you were
exclusive.
saying that. I was thinking about that the other day because you know the Ferrari store here in Calabasas. It used to be 50 grand to join the club to then to be able to buy a car from them.
Wow. Just to be able to buy a car.
Yeah, well, because it's here, right?
Yeah.
And they were kind of like, they were serving Beverly Hills and all that. And yeah, I just wonder if there isn't a model there for that.
Well, there is. I mean, we're moving our shop, so we're going to start moving more towards that direction with the VIP program. And
So is it almost like you're doing an extended warranty, extended maintenance program where...
more is I'm going to package the annual maintenance that your car needs into the membership cost. So when you pay the membership, you're not going to be out of pocket for the
You have a
basic
different
maintenance.
price for, say, like a Honda
Oh,
than you
yeah.
would for a Ford?
Yeah, and well, of course, the Ford would be like $29,000. We can start it on that right away. And then
But
the
there's
other,
a different cost of
different
repair.
tiers. The other thing is like I look at Fletcher Jones Mercedes in Newport Beach, the largest Mercedes-Benz dealership, in the world. And their car wash is crazy busy. Like when you pull in a service drive, you can't tell which line is for service and which line is for the car wash.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know their program, but I imagine that if you buy a car from them, you can get a free car wash at any time. And I think that's great, but I would limit that to a certain number per year and make that an exclusive member benefit for a certain percentage of customers and kind of create that club where it can be more profitable for you than just giving it to everybody.
Well, I mean, we did that at Crebier, right? And we were right down the street from Fletcher. And the thing is our grosses on the front end were $500 to $600 more than the market
right?
and in the Western region. And so telling customers how often they could come in for it never really. It's a really easy thing to pay for.
Right.
It's cheaper than free oil changes.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And but so we did focus groups on that, and that was a interesting thing. And we did Fletcher Jones customers in the focus group.
Oh, wow.
And the thing that we learned from it was that most of it wasn't about the car wash. You know what it was about?
What was it about?
The networking.
Interesting.
So
the
people
events.
would go to Fletcher and hang out in their coffee shop, and they're, none of them cared about the putting green, all of that, but it was about the networking. And we realized and kind of changed ours to kind of create that environment where people could hang out socially. But in Orange County, that's kind of what it is. It's more of a social thing.
Yeah.
I never would have guessed that. That's really impressive.
Yeah, the focus groups ended up we did 12 Fletcher Jones customers. We did 12 aspirational like Audi, Infiniti, Lexus customers, and then we did our customers. And the thing we learned from our customers is that it took too long.
So that makes me think of something is what if, so I would give the car wash to everybody, but offer some sort of a fast pass option.
Oh. It's all about speed of service and get to the
I
front
wouldn't.
of the line.
No?
No, it's a good idea, but I wouldn't. No.
Because I feel like there might be that exclusivity that
You
would
just
come
got to
with it.
understand that. So I don't know how many luxury car markets you have in the country as good as Orange County.
Jeez, it's probably not any better.
So probably Dallas, Miami. I'm not going to say Manhattan because Manhattan's a different kind of thing, and a lot of the people
Right.
with money in Manhattan have drivers. And so it's not the same kind of luxury market. But Dallas is a great luxury car market.
San Francisco, maybe?
Miami. No, same thing. I think a lot of people in San Francisco. It's good, but it's not like Orange County or Dallas where people.
have the space to park your car and it doesn't cost
Also,
more
the thing
parking.
kind of about that is that San Francisco and New York are old money. There's a way that people act in Orange County and Dallas. It's new money. It's kind of like you see a lot of chrome wheels and a lot of image and who I am. Where people in Frisco, New York that have money know who they are. They're not so show offy.
Interesting.
Like even in Long Island, like people have, they're very affluent there, but they're not as they're not as show-offy and caught up in that like they are. They're very affected in Orange County, in Dallas. Like, people want to know how much you make, where you work. It's this whole like keeping up with the Joneses on another level. And so I don't know where I was going with that, but I would say that I wouldn't do the tiers because it's more about the social thing. And if you can get them in, like I think we were the number one. Was it Jimmy? What are the sunglasses?
Maui Jim.
Maui Jim. We sold more Maui Jims than anybody. We sold more of other sunglasses. We sold Tommy Bahama. Like, our gift shop was selling a lot of stuff. Our coffee shop was profitable right out of the gate, you know. And so getting them, the whole thing is to get them to think about the dealership in a different way.
Yeah.
And so if you have like art shows there and wine tasting and trying to break the pattern of how people feel about a dealership, because you're going to make it up in the gross on their next car if they feel like it's more of a club and more like you're a part of their tribe.
Yeah.
They're less to be about price and what can you do for me kind of a thing.
Which is
it's more of a
consistent.
status
Yeah,
symbol, right?
it's
Like, I
interesting.
remember, so those stickers that we would put, so in finance when you bought a car, we'd put a VIP sticker on the inside of your windshield, so when you pulled up at our, like, you know, cabana, you could see if they were a Crevier customer or not. Those were selling on eBay.
That's smart.
That's funny.
Like, I don't know if a port or something ripped off a bunch, but yeah, like, and just the idea that they don't know that we can pull it up in the computer,
Right,
you know, is
right.
funny. Also, that was a thing in service. Like, if we really messed up something or whatever, we would give a customer, even if they hadn't bought it there,
Give them
the
the
VIP sticker,
access.
you know? So the free car washes, there was a value to that.
I love the windshield part too, is because not only are we identifying the customer by that, the customer's looking and reminding themselves every day that they're a Crevier VIP customer. That's pretty cool too.
And I'm a huge fan of adding new streams of income, but I'm just telling you, in that scenario, if I was running that store again, the money we were making, you didn't need to play with the model.
Yeah, the focus group told you everything that you needed to know. That
Yeah.
You don't have to tier it, but originally I was thinking that might be a good idea. But if it's not about the
Well,
car
we were
wash,
promising it on the front when they bought the car, and what the customers are telling us is, you don't tell us it's going to take an hour and a half, and heaven forbid you come at noon on a Saturday, it's 2 hours. We had to fix that because their perception was 20 minutes. So we worked really hard on that.
Interesting.
But we got it down to 20 minutes.
that's great.
But yeah, it's more clicky.
It is.
It's a status thing. The thing is it's so easy to please those customers when it's all about status because it's fluff. It's ego.
Yeah.
Like, the easiest thing to do is feed somebody's ego. You just tell them how smart and good looking they are.
Right.
Like, don't fight with them. Let them always be right. And they're loyal. Like, it's pretty easy. It's different than a customer that's buying on price, right? Like, you take a Toyota customer that's about reliability and price, that's a little harder because you can't just tell them they're good looking and smart. You can, and it works, but it doesn't work to the same degree.
Excellent.
Are you falling asleep, Jeremy?
No.
Can we get you some coffee?
No, I'm not falling asleep. I'm deep in thought.
Today was
here.
leg day, and I would love a big steak right now. I need protein.
Let's go.
Big steak. Everything's closed.
Where would you go?
I don't know.
Didn't you make a restaurant open for you not too long ago?
No. Where did that story come from?
You don't remember?
I made a restaurant open for me. No.
I don't remember that.
I've stayed away from restaurants, sir.
Oh, did we do questions?
No, not yet.
Voice of God, do we have questions?
The voice of God has many questions. And by many, I mean two. Question number 1. Hey, Chris, looking for some advice. I'm a writer at a Chrysler dealership for a very large dealer group in Michigan.
Quit. Just quit. Just stop. I mean, I don't need to hear anything else. Just quit now. You're ahead.
What do you think the question is?
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. Chrysler, strike one. Michigan, strike two. He's probably a Lions fan or a Green Bay Packers fan. I mean,
Which is worse?
Just both. Just quit. Lions is probably the worst. I mean, at least Green Bay gives you, some sort of winning streak every now and then.
Oh yeah, the Lions, owned by the Ford family.
Right. Yeah. There you go.
It's all coming full circle.
The
Yeah,
Detroit Lions
just-
are owned by the Ford
Just
family.
quit. Just quit.
Okay.
Sorry, voice of God.
guy.
Carry on. What's the rest of the question?
I've become the go-to guy in service for every other department, causing me to take on too much at times and taking me away from my responsibilities to my customers. I feel like this is holding me back from my goal of being the top writer in the group and ultimately becoming a service manager. I have a hard time telling anyone no because I take pride in being someone that others can rely on. Any ideas on how I should handle this to get myself to the next level? Thanks in advance for any possible insight. Your books and podcasts have helped me a ton in getting where I am today.
So I think the first thing you got to think about is you're not telling people no. What you want to do as an advisor is you want to come from a place of empathy and service, and you want to tell them the truth. That's the key. So it's not about telling anybody no. It's about having empathy for their situation, trying to do the best you can for them with what you have, what tools you have, and then tell them the truth. If it's going to take 2 days, it's going to take 2 days. If the Quick Lube texts are backed up and it's going to be an hour and a half, I would rather tell them it's going to be an hour and a half now than wait an hour when they think it's 45 minutes and then tell them. So
That's the worst scenario right there.
empathy, service, and tell them the truth. And so I'm guessing here is what you're doing is you're projecting this weird thing about how you feel about yourself and your self-image and trying to please people by telling them what you think they want to hear. But telling them what you think they want to hear is not going to do you any good or serve you. So I bet the empathy thing's easy for you because you probably already have that. And so it's the truth part that might be messing you up. Sorry.
Because he also said the other departments are pulling him out of service. So there we go. Parts is not doing their job again. So they're asking an advisor for help. Right? So if you have a hard time telling people no, just reframe it. And so if Christian comes up and says, hey, can you help me with this project or whatever I need to
say, Christian, do I look like I work in parts?
Right.
Stop. Get off your Facebook. Stop checking your email and get to work. The parts department is not a vacation center or whatever. What would you call it? Retirement home?
Retirement home.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah,
Is that how you would handle it?
No, I would just say, yeah, I can absolutely help you with that. I just have a question first. What would you do if I couldn't help you with that? And then they'll give you the answer and you say, that's a great decision. Go do that. And then you walk on and go do the other thing.
Wow.
Yeah. So you spin it. What would you do if I can't help you? That sounds like a good solution. Go do that. You just get out of doing it.
You know what's amazing? I actually think all three of us interpreted that question completely differently. So when I heard it, what I heard was not the parts department. What I heard is that it's the sales department come back because they've sold a car and they got a WIO or they got a PDI that needs to get done and everything like that. So that's how I actually heard that question. So what I would say to that point is remember that anytime the sales department's coming back to you, there's a customer strapped to the other side of that whole request, right?
Yeah,
so
and it's an opportunity. It's like the free oil change.
So it's a deposit.
Do you have an appointment? Isn't that the first thing you ask the salesperson?
Right? Did you call ahead? But I would just
Sorry,
say that
I don't get paid on internal.
Right.
Yeah,
so if I'm doing internal work for somebody, I'm putting splash cards on a card. Be like, oh great, give me the customer information. I would just say, I'd call them up. I'd be like, hey, my name is Christian. I'm going to be taking care of the splash card installation for you today. I just want to let you know when it's time for your first service. I'm going to be the person that you're going to take care of as well because it's really important to us that you have a great ownership experience all throughout the time that you have the vehicle. I'm trying to make as many deposits as possible because I want 100% of the sales customers to come to me if I'm an advisor because I feel like that's the way to build your business. But that's how I interpreted that, and I think that that's a great thing.
I think we gave him 3 answers then.
Yeah,
Good.
he got
Great.
more than he
That was like
more
a
than he
coaching
bargained
call
for.
just
Great,
wrapped up in there for him.
Great question.
Okay, one more question. Hi, Chris. I've recently discovered your videos. I think they're fantastic and insightful. They seem to be centered in doing the right thing for your customer, and the right thing will happen for you. Due to COVID, my industry has imploded. I really want to become a service advisor, but I'm finding it difficult to get in the game. I think my age is part of the issue, but not the sole issue. What do you recommend as a good course of action to get into the service advisor profession?
So I guess I would need more context because I don't know if you have money in the bank. I don't know what industry you're coming from. I don't know your experience or what, why you're thinking you want to get into it. But I remember my grandfather telling me a story about my dad. So my dad, right after he married my mom, didn't have a job. And so my grandfather tried to get him on at the garbage company in Bremerton, Washington, picking up trash. And they didn't have any openings, and I think they were union. And so what my dad did is he went down there and swept their office and around the front every day. And how long do you guys think it took before he got put on a truck?
A month.
No, it was a week.
Oh, wow.
And so if you don't know anything about the industry and you want to get a feel for it, I would go to a local shop or dealership and I would ask the manager there, like, hey, I want to learn this. Can I answer phones and help follow up for a couple weeks and just volunteer, put your best foot forward and make a difference. Like go in there and learn and ask questions and help customers and have a passion for it. And you wouldn't be able to stop you if you give to get. We have that approach here, and it's the reason why we're as busy as we are, and we help as many people as we do. Is our philosophy is we're going to put out free content that's better than what our competition charges for. So the stuff that they charge for behind their membership wall won't be as good as the stuff we give away for free. So just imagine what our content is behind the membership wall on our on-demand platform, right?
Right.
If we can give away content for free that other people are charging for, imagine how good the stuff is behind. And that works, right? So we're the only ones in the industry that don't feel like the content is, the treasure, right? The treasure is the relationship more than anything else. So if you really wanted to get into it, I would go volunteer. I don't know, in different states, I don't know how feasible that is. I don't know what the HR laws are with that. But if I was a service manager and you came to me and said, hey, my industry imploded, maybe you was a bartender or something, and I want to become a service advisor, can I answer phones, make appointments, clean up paperwork, file, whatever it is, then you'll get an opportunity. When I was a porter, I was dying to be an advisor, and I got passed over, I think, 5 times to be an advisor. But I wrote all the internals that they would let me write. Anybody called in sick, I would write service. I would answer the phones if the phones were ringing and everybody was busy, because writing the internal ROs made it so when I did finally have a customer in front of me, the only difference was the pay type. But I knew how to use Reynolds and Reynolds. I knew all the codes. I knew how to do it because I'd opened and closed so many internals. I didn't get paid for it. I'd stay late on my own time to do it. But part of the gap in being an advisor sometimes is knowing how to write a repair order in the DMS that they have.
Right.
That's the hardest part.
I think the other thing too, right now, the feedback I'm getting is there's a lot of people who are apprehensive of people who have been COVID. They've lost their job in an industry that is going to come back. So they don't want to invest in that person or hire them because as soon as it comes back, they're going to go back to what they were doing. So I would say identify your purpose and your passion of wanting to become an advisor, and then do something totally different. Make a video, and then it's all about persistency, right? Get that video out there, show the world why you want to be an advisor, and then pick the car line you want to work in. Because I remember I knocked on 43 dealership doors before I got my first job. And I remember talking to the Lexus manager at Cerritos and just kind of going through his process and culture. And I kind of like, yeah, I'm not going to be a good fit for you just because I know my personality. I know kind of what you're describing isn't really the way that I like to work. And, that was an interview that didn't work out for me, but I wouldn't have fit in that model. So find a car line that you're going to be comfortable with and that you want to work on and be passionate about, and then break the mold. You'll find a spot.
Wow. I love both those things. That's crazy.
Wait, we have left you speechless?
Not speechless. I just feel like there's nothing more to add.
You don't
Those
have
two
an
are-
inappropriate joke?
Not that it would pass through editing.
And remember, I remember my second Volkswagen job I got. I literally found out that the service manager worked from like 5 to 2. So anytime after 7 a.m. you weren't going to get to him. So I would get there at 4:30 and I'd just be hanging out by the door. And after a couple days, like, who are you and what are you doing? Well, I'm your next advisor.
Nice.
Right. So
Yeah.
do things that are totally different.
Give to get.
Yeah,
Put your best
absolutely.
foot forward.
Yeah. Great
good.
question.
Great show, you guys. That was
Awesome
fun.
show.
We hope that you have a great week, and we will see you next time on Service Drive Revolution. Thanks for watching this episode of Service Drive Revolution. If you have any questions, go ahead and post them in the comments below. Make sure you subscribe and hit the bell icon so you're notified when we post new episodes. I'm Chris Collins, and you can find me on Facebook and Instagram at Chris Bulldog Collins. And I'll see you again on the next episode.